Going.
It's fine. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. For some reason I closed the Medify page. I see that you are a 4800 MMR carry player. I mean, you say your aspirations are
Yes.
immortal. And,
Yes.
what would you say? Um, what would you say your biggest thing holding you back is right now?
Right now it's pretty difficult because I'm having one of two scenario games where one is an absolute stomp of ours and the other is absolute stomp of the enemy team. So little bit I don't know where exactly the problem is, and I'm stagnating a little bit right now. Right about um, this 4800 MMR portion, and it's difficult to climb right now for me.
And how long would you say you've been stuck at this portion, the 4800?
It's it's like 1 or 2 months because I also uh, dropped down a little bit, even like into uh, even like 200 MMR minus something about that, and then I tried to climb up, and it was difficult, and it took a lot of time before I end up here again, and now I can't figure out what's the problem, why I can't climb up anymore.
So why did you sign up for my coaching specifically?
Because I admire you. I watch your videos and your streams also. And I was thinking like, uh, what am I missing? Maybe I can ask someone who is better than me to help me with this problem.
Sure, man.
That
S-
that's the whole reason.
Cool. So would you say like correct me if I'm wrong, but like kind of success coming out today would be having a better idea of what you can do to have a bit more agency in winning your games?
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Do you have a couple replays in mind? What do you have for me today to work off of?
Yes, I have three replays, but I'm gonna send you two of those. I have one game as a Riki and two losses with TA or Slack. Which one of these do you wanna watch? TA or
I mean,
Slack?
yeah, I guess my biggest thing is, how do you want to end up watching all three of these games? Like, how would you like to spend the hour we have today? What distribution on these three games are you thinking?
I would like you to watch the Riki game and tell me what should have I told my team to do better, because in about like it was in the middle of, I think, 30 to 35 minutes where I told my team that we should push other lanes, and we were trying to go high ground, and obviously me as a Ricky, I don't want to go push high ground when we are 5v5, and even with ages I cannot reliably hit towers, so I cannot go there. Yeah, and even with ages it's difficult. So uh I want to know what should have I done better. Should have I just left my team and go push top or push bottom? But then there was like I was uh I was not sure about that during the game, because I wanted to go push top, but then I was thinking like my team would end up I would end up leaving my team alone. They will they would fight, and I'm not in the fight, so my team would lose the fight, and it would be bad. So that was the whole like.
So you want to? I mean, the
Impromptu.
major thing I'm hearing is you want to make sure we get to the Riki game.
Yeah. So
Would you like to start with that one?
get to it right now. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
we should
Cool.
get to it right now.
Let's get to it.
Okay.
Send me that one. And do you want me to watch the whole game, or do you want me to fast forward to the part that you're describing?
I would also like to watch the laning stage
Okay.
and see if I was doing well. I
Sure.
think I was, so that's why.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm also very glad that Riki is back, because I was thinking like the hero is really bad this patch. They nerfed him pretty much, but the phylactery item just, yeah, it's so good on this hero, I must say.
Nice.
And also Centaur is just bad matchup into Riki. Like, he has a bad matchup against me, I think. Kinda.
Why would you say that?
Because I'm very mobile, I would say, as a Riki, and like I can even dodge the stun pretty reliably with my E.
I got you.
Or that's just maybe that's just my thing.
How do you feel about how your Weaver's playing?
I mean, he would I'm not sure. He wasn't pulling as much, but it wasn't really needed. I think he tried to be very aggressive, and I honestly like that when I'm Riki, that my support is trying to be aggressive. But also I don't want to miss CS. So, and this hero really hates when he misses CS. So it's difficult.
Why specifically this hero hates missing CS?
Because his timing of phylactery or diffusal.
Ah, gotcha.
Either of those.
It's interesting. I think the
Yeah,
biggest thing I've noticed. Go ahead. You had something to say?
I just got one-shotted right there, by the way.
Yeah.
It was pretty depressing.
Yeah, you got double edged into death.
Yeah.
Is that a max double edge or something? Oh, he has the Counter Strike facet. That's interesting.
Yeah, and he has double edge level 3.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. So I got sunstroke and double edge.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy actually. Wouldn't have expected
Yeah.
that.
Me too.
So, sorry, I'm rewinding a bit here. So you got some kills. My question that I have is, how often would you say you pull the small camp as a carry?
Yeah, I'm trying to do so when like I have time, but I don't want to miss CS under tower. So it's, yeah, I know also from your other videos with other players that you coached, that you're also talking about this topic, uh, about pulling carry pulling his small camp. But I don't know, with Riki it's difficult. After level 6 you pretty much can't, and before level 6, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I heard you say you
I'm
don't
not
want to
sure.
miss CS under tower. For me, I'm wondering what's stopping us from just having these creeps go into tower, kill them off in about 4 seconds, walk over here, pull this camp into this wave. Um, for me, it's the exact same thing, but I get a small camp.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
maybe. And I'm
which,
not even contested on the pool, so
yeah,
mm.
it's like 60, 70 gold, and most importantly, it's madstones. Um, so,
Yeah, you're right.
so I see it here, and then I saw it, so what happens here is that you talk about not wanting to miss CS, but if you pull at 620, oops, I don't know who I went to. If you pull at 620 here, or like if you pull this creep wave, you get this range, you pull this into tower, what's going to happen is then you're going to be farming this. The wave's going to come like closer to your tower because your wave's not here. Like your wave would be back here still. So instead of it being up here, it's back here. And then, you
Mm,
know, you end up missing some CS because you're like scared of getting contested. So you end
yeah.
up missing CS anyway. Just one or two of them anyway. I'm trying to show you that by interacting with them, you're taking extra damage, you're missing a CS or two, and the price you pay to not do that is to CS under tower.
Mm,
Which, you know, is your skill. You know, meaning like there's no reason to miss CS under tower unless you're not good at it, which is fine.
yeah.
It's not like it's super easy, but I'm saying like it's 100% within your control to miss CS under tower, while everything that's going over here is not. So like I look at that example just quickly. I would have wanted you to pull here as well.
Hmm.
And then you
Yeah.
don't pull, which is fine. But if you didn't pull there, you get these kills. And the thing for me is that I'm not upset that you are not like what. It's not that I think you did something wrong by dying here. I would be surprised as well. The way that you died, with like the facet and the maxed out double edge, and the sunstrike. But for me, when I play carry, the way that I win games is by utilizing or win this portion 5 minutes to 8. It's all about these camps. You'll see it in like all of my games. You'll see it at like the the highest level. It's the off lane and the carry are fucking with each other at camps because if one person does it and the other person doesn't, they just lose.
Yeah.
So I just want to draw attention to. I think your laning stage overall was played pretty well. I think your Weaver, I was like pretty impressed. I thought he played pretty well overall. He had a couple nice pulls and he was being aggressive with you, and I do think he synergized well with you. Um, but sometimes when you
Yeah.
have overly aggressive supports, you need to end up pulling yourself. But also sometimes it just doesn't have to be the support, you know. Like it's not even about like whether your support's messing up or anything. I look at, I would just say how many small camp pulls are you missing between 5 and 8 minutes? It's a big deal to get that neutral item as well. Neutral items are a lot. It's like, if you
Yeah.
think about like 7 damage, 10 attack speed, 100 health, and then like you think about the active of whatever this thing is called. Um,
If you get the glove, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it has
it's
like 20 attack speed. It's
yeah, you can
pretty
potentially get 30 attack
low.
speed from a neutral item. That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That's
750
huge.
gold worth of um, items. So yeah, that's why it's been a huge emphasis in my coaching sessions, and I can understand the hesitation of putting things under tower and stuff. I just always draw attention to how often sometimes that people come into sessions and say stuff like, "There's a lot of things going on in my games. I feel completely out of control," and I totally get that. Like there's a lot of things in the Dota game that are very frustrating that are outside of our control. But then there's what we can't do then is say, I'm not going to do that because it's hard to see us under tower because that is within your control. So we have to like
Mm,
be really careful about that, right? It's not that like you're being hypocritical or something like that. It's just that the key in my experience to dealing with all the shit that's outside of your control is to get really, really good at understanding what is within your control and maximizing the shit out of it. Like that's how I look at it. Does that all that make sense?
yeah,
Cool. Because I
it
think your
does.
laning stage overall was pretty nice. That was like the major thing I feel like was missing from what I saw in this individual replay. Would you like me to fast forward to the moment in the game now, or how would you like to go from here?
Yeah, fast forward.
Okay, what moment? How far into the game was it that you're thinking about? Because you're talking about like going high
Uh,
ground and stuff with Aegis.
I think it was about 30 minutes.
About 30? Okay, we'll
I'm not
find. Yeah, it doesn't have to be
100%.
exact, just
Yeah.
somewhere in there. Okay. So you don't have Aegis yet here. Was it earlier or later than
Yeah,
what you were looking at here?
yeah, this was later.
So rewind
Definitely
or
later.
fast forward?
Fast forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got huge timings. I mean, I don't know when I got Manta, but it was really fast on Riki.
Yeah, so
This
you guys
game.
have like a Midas OD, you have a DK who hits towers instead of you.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I have Aegis, I try my best to communicate what my hero does with Aegis. So I think that's the best
Mhm.
way to prevent teammates from doing things we don't want them to do. I think it's really important to know that I'm saying this before I see anything because I want you to know I don't have like a bias towards what I'm about to see. Um, so like if I'm playing Slark with an Aegis, you know, I played a game today and I said, guys, let's run at them. You know, like we see hero, we go. You know, so at no point did I communicate, let's go high ground. I'm like, if we see heroes, let's go. And for me, having a clear idea of what I want to do with Aegis, knowing that most players will default to thinking Aegis means we're stronger, which means objectives, which is just not correct. But most people default to that, and there are cases where it is correct, but it just isn't like correct to assume that by default. So we're first operating under here's how most people assume it. We've probably experienced this in our games. We know what we do want. Let's communicate that ahead of time. Because if it's already at their base and you're like, let's back off, I don't want to do this, it's much more awkward than right now saying, I want to hunt heroes. And then if they say, why aren't you hitting high ground? Your response is, I'm trying my best to communicate that I just want to hit heroes. I'm a Riki. You know, like you just say
Yeah.
that. But if you don't say that first part, I've found that it's really difficult, if not impossible, to navigate your team wanting to go high ground when the creeps are already there. They want to hit it. They're already ready. In their head, the expectations already been assumed that we're going to go high ground. So I'm just pointing out, like, very briefly, like, set expectations when you get the Aegis, not
Mhm.
later. So
Mhm.
what, just answer this question for yourself. What do you want to generally do with this Aegis? Control map and farm, control map and kill heroes, run at heroes relentlessly. Like, what do
Yeah,
you
like
want
if
to,
I
you
would
know?
be Drow in this game, I would be pushing towers.
Absolutely. I mean, it just depends on what
Yeah.
hero you are. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we don't. What we can do is ahead of time communicate this type of stuff, and people don't always listen. But like, it's much easier to like not
Yeah, this will
validate per
fix.
se, but it's like to be you and be like, hey man, I tried to say it. Like, you don't get mad at them for not listening. You just have a response of like, hey man, I tried to say it. Like, I didn't want to go high ground. So if you're like, I don't know what else to do, you know? And you can just respond with a quick like, hey man, I tried to communicate not to do that. And then that's your response. And we have to be
Yeah.
very careful of communicating ahead of time and then not taking it personally when people forget or they just choose not to listen. You know, reminder to everyone playing Dota, there's a lot of shit going on in a game. So the last thing we want to do is like, this is good. This is where my brain goes, and it probably um hmm, okay. This may be the wrong place to have my brain go, but if you communicate this and you say, like, I'm giving you a real life example. If I say, hey, I want to take it really slow on our first date, and then I start putting my hand between your legs, like during the date, you're going to be like, what? Like, I'm really confused. I thought you wanted to take it slow. So it's not only important that you communicate what you want to do, but if you don't want to hit high ground, don't stand next to your teammates at the high ground.
Mm.
Like, now use your actions to also
Yeah.
communicate. So like if
Yeah,
we
and if they stay and then die,
it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about doing the best you can with the situation. And I know that it's hard to stomach that, but I can't tell you how often we fall in this trap of trying to control things we can't. And so I know it's like stoicism's kind of a buzzword, and I don't like just saying like, hey man, just focus on what you can control. But the problem that I've noticed for myself, or the beauty that I've noticed for myself, is when I'm really aware of what I can control, and I've also done it, like I've said it, I've followed through on it, and I'm confident that it's what I want and I stated it, then when somebody does something I don't like or gets mad at me for me not doing something they don't like, whatever, I just feel I accept it, basically. Like, I accept it happening, and what's not going to happen is your teammates are going to make a mistake, get mad at you, and then you're going to have stuck with them because of it, and you also make a mistake and die with them. It's like, that's what we're trying to avoid, and it sucks, but it also is just a part of the game. You're playing a solo queue game. Like, it's a team game with 5 different people, never really played together, different ideas of the game. No matter how well you communicate, like, I have miscommunications with my girlfriend, who I've had, 1,000 conversations with, so it just happens sometimes. So we're bound to have miscommunications with people we've really never played with before. And I'm just trying to draw attention to the fact that it's easy to get worked up about the stuff that we can't control. It's very human, it's very reasonable, but I also try to show, like, yeah, man, there's really no way to avoid this happening. Like, it's just gonna. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be miscommunications. You're going to tell people what you want, and they're not going to hear you. They're not going to understand exactly what you meant. There's so many reasons why what you said isn't going to land. And for you, in the long run, the takeaway is we can get better at communicating. It's kind of like a nonstop journey of how do I get better at saying, like, maybe I said something and I realized, oh, they thought I meant go high ground when I meant, like, well, if I said play for objectives, they thought I meant high ground, but I meant Roche and Tormentor. So maybe I wasn't specific enough. That's just an example of what I mean. But so like in this portion, I want to real quick check-in. Are you still with me? Like, does this sound good so far? Okay.
Yes.
So the one thing we don't want to do is play in a way that does not match what we want, because that becomes a really slippery slope, because you're also enabling your teammates to kind of think that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, somebody brought this up. There was actually Sammy Boy like 2 years ago who brought this up to me, and it was so important. Like, it really stuck with me. I was a lean. I'm just giving you a quick rundown. I was carry. I was Lina. We were Radiant hitting this tower. My teammates were looking to dive. I had Aegis. I didn't want to dive. I was just a Lina wanting to hit a tower, kind of like Drow, as you mentioned. And when my team was posturing aggressively up here to dive them, I started moving my hero forward. And he asked me, did you want to dive here? And I said, no. And he says, well, what you're doing with your hero makes it look like you want to dive. So what do you think your teammates are thinking when you're moving, when they're walking like this and they see their carry walking like this? Like, let's fucking go. That's what they're thinking, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm Lina and my teammates run in like this, and I'm just hitting the building, then the reason they chose to dive has absolutely nothing to do with me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just drawing attention. Like, for me, I was like, wow, I never thought about that. But for me, it basically became the body language of Dota 2. It's like, what are you doing with your hero that just kind of tells them what you're thinking? And people assume this. Like, people, when people talk in real life, they always like, does this person look nervous? Do they look like they're comfortable? Do they look like they really enjoy being around me? Like, what does it look like? What are the vibes? And I just say, in Dota, there are vibes. Like, does this guy look like he's like fucking kill hungry? Does he look like he wants to just hit creeps? Like, what is he looking like? And your actions, people will, in the moment, they don't have time to say, hey, are you down to dive? They see you walking in, they look like they're walking in, and they just go, oh, we're diving. We're doing this. He's got his hand, on my leg, I'm just kidding. But yeah, do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Cool. So this moment here, what I care about is if you don't want to be here, we just don't want to be here. So if you're like, I don't want, like, for me, I'm thinking my DK ain't here. The guy that hits buildings is DK. That's what I'm thinking. And he's down here. So I would just be back here, probably picking up a rune, killing this camp, picking up a rune. I would say, like, I don't want to hit
Yeah,
base. If we want to hit base, it's DK. Like, that's how I would say it. Like, something like this. And then if the guy does this, you just go, hey, I didn't want to go in DK's bottom. And of course, if he responds with anything other than, like, if he responds with any personal insults or, you know, straight up just like fuck yous and stuff like that, I don't know what else to do than mute them. I don't want to deal with them. I don't have the, you know, I try to mute them and then communicate as if they are going to listen to me again. That's
okay.
that's the best I think we can
I
do.
understand.
So, you know,
Yeah, like right now, this OD is mad. I mean,
he doesn't look like his play doesn't look fundamentally sound. Would be my
yeah.
would be my analysis of this. Like, DK's like, oh, I guess I have to come join. So here, DK's here now.
Yeah, but OD doesn't have his passive.
Yeah, he doesn't have his Ags prog or whatever.
Ags, yeah. And this is like, I was trying to body block a little bit because I saw that my team is they just want to push the tower. That's all they want.
Yes, and the problem is once you're here, there's two parts to this. I said set expectations when you get Aegis. What do you generally want to be doing? Next most important thing, which I've already said, let your body language, you know what I mean by that, like hero positioning. Match what you said you want. Okay, so that's the next thing.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
If I wanted to go top, I just should have gone top.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do is communicate it and then do it. Yeah. Like, one of my favorite mottos I've learned in the last 3 months or so is clear as kind. Like, I've had a really bad habit of being, like, passive aggressive and being upset with people when they're not listening to me. And I've already felt the immensely positive impact of realizing if I just know what I want, communicate it clearly without littered by, like, you should know better. Like, I kind of used to be very condescending with my tone because I was frustrated with people not listening. So, like, if I'm frustrated from my previous game and I'm talking to these guys like I'm fed up, they're not going to listen to me. Like, nobody wants to listen to me. You know, like, if you have somebody, like, you know, if you're in customer service and somebody comes up to you, like, super fucking fed up, like, sure, maybe you're required to help them by your company's policy or something, but you don't want to. But, like, the person who comes up to you and says, like, hey, man, I'm having an issue. Like, I just need help with this. Like, they come at you with a stressful situation and just communicating to you. You're much more likely to listen to them. And I'm just telling you that, like, I realized that people weren't listening to me. And it's not always in my control that they listen to me, but it is in my control to talk to them in a way that makes them the most likely to listen to me. But I also have to operate under the assumption that they may not listen to me anyway. But like, I can also say, positively speaking, when they don't listen to me, and I feel confident that I said it as assertively as possible and as clearly as possible, that I feel better about it. And when people don't listen, I've always asked myself, was there a way I could have said that better? And sometimes, no, and it is what it is. And then sometimes I learn a really nice lesson. But the point is that it ends up with learning, which it turns frustration into learning rather than frustration into being fed up, angry, and, like, resentful towards your teammates. That's, like, what we're kind of converting here. Does that make sense? And you'll learn from that.
Happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've been there. Like, you know, the reason why I think I coach you guys well is because I know. like I know what you're thinking, in the sense that I'm a recovering bad communicator. And I'm not trying to say you're specifically a bad communicator, but I myself was a very bad communicator, and I know how hard it is to learn to communicate properly. But I also think small little steps can have huge impact. So when you came in today, I kind of knew we'd be talking a bit about communication, because when I heard you, I heard, like, you know, this, like, how do I help how do I get my teammates to listen to me better And then you talked about, like, I don't want to leave my teammates because I'm afraid of what they're going to do. All of these are, like, problems we run into in the game. Last thing we want to do is TP away from our team and they all die. But if we told them 20 seconds ago that we're walking away, I'm going top, and then they die, it's very different than we're pushing base. I don't like this anymore. I don't say anything. I TP out to defend a tower, and they all die because they didn't notice. And it's like, well, yeah, then it's kind of your fault. You know what I mean? Like, if you, like, you do know that you TPing out puts them in danger, so you need to communicate that you're TPing out. But then we worry about them getting mad at us for TPing out, so then we don't say it. Which, you know, is a dangerous cycle. It's a very dangerous cycle of not wanting to communicate because of what happens when they get pissed at us for communicating, and maybe we're not the best at communicating yet. And but that's the biggest thing I'm trying to emphasize to people is small, meaningful steps. Like, it doesn't have to, like, we're not trying to teach you a master course in communicating to your teammates. But if you run into the problem you ran into this game, which is pretty common problem, I think, for carry players, which is I get Aegis and my team doesn't do what I want them to do with the Aegis. If we just ask ourselves, what do I want to do with this Aegis? Communicate it in the game. I think you can even have like 3 or 4 kind of set lines. Like, hey guys, I'm a Riki. I want to hunt for kills on the map with my Aegis. I'm playing map to farm creeps and kill heroes that show on lanes. Like, you can have a script for that, for Riki, for instance. You know, like, just, you can read it off. And when you do that, and then your play matches that, it's just a huge change to what I'm seeing right now. Right? Where you're like, oh, I'm really nervous about my OD pushing here. I don't want to leave him behind. I want to just be farming. I'm 800 gold off Nullifier. Like, it's a huge timing for me. We don't have his Ags passive anymore. All this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, any questions about everything? I just kind of rambled.
It's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
I got it.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I would like, the challenge I can ask you is, whenever you're in your future games, when you end up in a situation that doesn't work out, or it does work out, either one, did I want this? Like, did I choose this? Was this something I tried to make happen in the game? Or was it more of something that just happened to me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Difference there? Yeah, so...
Yeah, here I'm gonna die because I ran into 5 heroes. Just like that. Yeah, I didn't see them on the map, and I saw the Invoker, and I got excited. Yeah.
Yeah, so... It's actually become a... I'm gonna quickly take note of this, because... How would you assess, like, you said you don't see them, or like you don't see them on the map, and then you saw Invoker, like, why did you get excited when you saw Invoker? That's my question. Like, what about that, like, got you going?
It's Invoker, and he's very essential for their team fight. So if I kill him, and I get away with that, it's huge. And he was alone, so presumably he was alone.
Why did you presume that?
Because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was just recklessness right here.
So what's really interesting is, I am asking like pretty abrasive questions, so they might be a bit uncomfortable. Like asking like just straight up, why did you think that? It can be kind of abrasive, but I'm just... So what's really interesting to me, and it's become abundantly clear, because map awareness is kind of like stoicism. It's just like another, you know, dude, map awareness. It's like kind of a buzzword in the Dota scene or Dota community of like, hey, this, just get better at map awareness. And so what I've ended up teaching people a lot about, or what I've found myself having to say, actually, so I need to make a video about it, is the most important question is, how much information do I have?
Yeah.
That is the most important question, because people are dying on the map when they're farming. Because, like, what happens is, if I'm 28 minutes in the game and I clear this wave, Like, I'm just a normal hero on Radiant, and I clear this wave. What's the opponent think I'm going to do next by default if I'm a carry? Right? I clear this wave. What am I going to do? I'm going to go farm this camp, then I'm going to go farm this camp, then I'll farm this camp. Like, that's what I'm going to do by default, right?
Yeah.
So, what I trying to point out to a few people before, and I need to compile these examples, is if nobody's showing on the map, meaning you have very little information, you have to do the least predictable or exposing thing you can do. And that's proportional to how much information you have. So it's like, if I have information of 2 heroes, maybe I can do something slightly predictable. If I have information of 5 heroes, I can just play full-on efficiency, kill every fucking creep, walk from camp to camp, right? Like, no questions asked. Like, I don't even have to kite the camp. I don't mind if I lose some health. I just fucking kill it as fast as I want. But if everybody's missing and I just kill the wave, walk to the next camp, walk to the next camp, and they're looking for me, they're gonna find me. Like, so the reason why I say, why did you assume he's alone, is I say that when you are making decisions in the game, you have to assume they are everywhere that they could be. So right now, I would be thinking they could be with Invoker or they could be top. So what do I do with that information?
Yeah.
I go top, right? I go with my team to top, right? Yeah. That's what I would do with that information. So, like, less information you have to assume they can be or that they are anywhere that they can be. If that makes sense. That's kind of weird wording.
Yeah.
So, like, now that you know that, in each given scenario, what do you do? Like, you know, that's where your years of Dota, you know, 5K MMR game sense comes in. You already know that. I don't need to teach you it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true, because I also came to this session with the thing on my mind that yeah, I already know these things, but still I'm just sometimes I'm just gonna do.
You're gonna break your discipline, basically, is like how I call it.
Basically.
You know better, but you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that when you are dealing with the communication issues, what I'm trying to teach you is having a rock, like something that you can refer to when you're thinking about what's happening in the game, because there's so much chaos in the game of Dota 2 that we need some sort of anchor at all times. So it's like, I got Aegis, I know I'm looking for kills and hunting map, and maybe we'll go high ground with a DK ult, and everything I do from there on out, I compare it to that anchor. And it makes my decisions way clearer in the game, because it's just like, does that match my decision or not? And if something works out and it didn't match that, maybe I learned something, you know? The less certain I am about exactly what I want, the more I'm willing to try something different. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that might work. Let's try it. You know, I don't know. But if I know exactly how I want the game to look, then I'm just observing what's then happening in the game and comparing it to that. So it's the same idea where my anchor for discipline is to be aware at all times how much I know. Just how much information on the map do I have? And that's something that I've really worked on, being keenly aware of at all times, because it's the only way I've found to prevent myself from basically impulsively going, oh, that guy can die. Because instead, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was also greed, because I knew that this guy is important.
Yeah.
So I have to kill him.
Yeah, he's a big kill. No, I mean, no doubt he's a big kill. So I totally get that. And it's just, if we can squeeze before every decision you make a awareness of how much information do I have, you'll still do it sometimes, but you'll do it way less. And so
Witness,
we got to squeeze that into the process. And the only way to squeeze that in is to say, hey, for the next 100 games, your goal is to communicate what you want with the Aegis. And then the rest of the game, you're just assessing how much information I have on the map. And it's going to distract you because it's a lot of information. It's a lot to keep track of. But what ends up happening is you start noticing trends, a human brain, amazing pattern recognition, all that. And you're just like, oh, I have no information. I have a lot of information. No information generally means group with your team. That's what it generally means. If you feel like you can't fight them anyways, then heroes like Riki and Puck and stuff like this will often look to like cut creep waves as far away from where they think the enemy's going to go. You know, so like it's just doing super ninja shit on the map or going to your team is pretty much what no information means.
Yeah.
And so it's just what I'm saying is when you see the no information, there is that period of time where you kind of have to problem solve. What do I do with this? But then it becomes like very natural, very instinctual vibing after that, which is, you know, that's when you know, okay, I no longer have to consciously set aside games to do this. I'm just done here. And I think if you were to remove deaths like this as a carry player, like deaths like this are a big deal, right? Like to have random deaths at 35 minutes into the game. You end up winning, of course, but
this was not worth it at all.
Yeah, of course. 1800 gold, map control, perhaps lost there. Like, if you lost this game, that would be the moment where you're like, you know, that would be the moment where you realized you fucked up.
And that happens to me sometimes.
Absolutely. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Just checking in. We've got about 30 minutes left. Would you like to keep watching this game?
This was the last death, so after that, it was
okay.
Piece of cake.
So you want to check out the TA game or the Slark game?
Yeah, maybe the Slark game.
Sure.
Because like the TA game, I know that I just chose the wrong target there. But
yeah, whatever you want to talk about, man. I'm happy with either.
Yeah, I mean, we can check the TA game because when I already said that, we can go check it out. Because like it's embarrassing because I know it was stupid of me to focus Patch in that game. I don't know why I did that. But it was also because yeah, I thought he was an easy kill, and if I kill him, then yeah, then they don't have a frontliner basically, almost.
So would you like me to fast forward to the fights where you're focusing Pudge, or would you kind of like me to do a quick lane review again into that, or how would you like this? What exactly?
Yeah, quick lane review too.
Okay.
I don't know how I did in this game with TA in lane.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Yeah, once yes. Okay.
Looks like your defensive aggro is a bit off this game. Like you've tried a few times and it didn't work. Maybe that's just first game of the day or something.
It looks like it is.
Let me know if you'd like me to break it down a lot, or if you just feel like you know and you don't want to talk about it. Either one's fine. Let me know.
I think I'm doing it less with ranged heroes.
Yeah, so
that's pretty big. I know that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me quickly go over this for you. So, so I talk about doing different CS drills all the time. And you know, it can get pretty nitpicky for people, meaning like, you know, I can give you a very customized what CS drill I think you should do. So for you, you know, it's even better if you have a friend to practice this with, like where you just lane against each other. But I want to show you what I want you to do. So the skill that comes in with carry, I need to let these creeps kind of play out here. Is that when you're ranged, you want the creep to be walking towards you like this. I fucked it up. Let's do this. I want the creep to be walking towards me as it's dying so that my projectile doesn't have to travel as far. So like this.
Oh.
So that's like the best way to use defensive aggro as ranged heroes. I fucked it up because I'm fucking trying to talk. So it's like same thing here though. It's like, so it's a really important drill for you to get in the habit of, because as ranged heroes, defensive aggro is very different, because oftentimes you don't want a defensive aggro when the creeps are full HP. Because if you defensive aggro while the creeps are full HP, you end up tanking a lot of creeps. And you just kind of die to it. So as ranged, it requires a lot more nuance of exactly what I would imagine has happened, if I'm guessing, is you tried applying your same knowledge of creep aggro to ranged heroes as you did melee, and if you pull right at the start of the wave, it's not bad as melee heroes, but it's bad as ranged heroes. So you were probably doing that, and then you were like, this isn't good, so you kind of like stopped doing it. That'd be my guess. Something along those lines. Does that kind of resonate, or?
Yeah, it does. It
Okay.
does.
Okay. So I'll show you real quick what I meant, because I see it in your game, and I can show you why it's like really obvious to me after watching it, but it's easily fixable. So right here, you would aggro this creep right now.
Yeah.
That's when you would aggro it. You could even aggro it earlier if you want. But yeah, you would have aggroed that creep, and then what happens is, if you aggro it towards you, the Rubik might go out of position. He might attack the crit. So what you're doing also is you're intentionally disrupting your melee creeps hitting that melee creep. So you're changing the time in which it's dying, right? So what most of the time happens is the support will try to deny you, but if you do this properly, your melee creeps stop hitting because you're pulling it. The ranged support hits it early, and then you finish it off. That's like what ends up happening. Do you see what I like how that's working there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it was
But
go ahead.
technically, Rubik's positioning doesn't really matter level 1 here, because I have Ogre.
Yeah. It doesn't particularly matter here. But like, when all these creeps, I want you to notice that none of them are getting aggroed as they're dying. So you tried to aggro it there instead of when it was going to be dying. So when it's dying, it has already returned to the creep wave. You see how it's like not moving anymore? And we want it to be moving as it's dying. This is not the case with melee heroes, but like right now, I want you to aggro right now. Such that the creep's now running towards you as it's dying. But then you're like in the middle of the creep contesting it. And what happens when you do that is the only potential thing is the opponent isn't ready for it, and they get fucked because they try to walk in and hit it. They're a melee guy, and they're like walking 200 units further forward, and that actually sets you up to meld strike him, and then he dies. So like it looks like he's probably gonna die anyway, but
which happens.
Yeah, but like you would have pulled him even further out of position. I didn't mean to rewind there. But yeah, so my major thing is you can actually do that CS drill of just get in the habit of pulling creeps right as they're about to die, and you want it to be so that there's this 2.3 second window where the creeps are chasing you, and then they return to the creep wave. You want the creep to be at the tip of that 2.3 seconds as it's dying. Does that make sense of what you're going?
Yeah.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah. Right there.
So basically, pull aggro 2.3 seconds before you think it's gonna die. Now, that's not obviously something you can count out in the game, but you obviously develop a good sense for it when you practice it. And so you'll just over time refine that, and that's defensive aggro basically for ranged heroes. A lot more commonly than just pulling up to the. I've had players who, like, usually they're maybe 2 or 3k MMR where they're just a ranged carry and they'll just pull aggro right away, like right when the wave starts. And I'm like, no, don't do that. You're just gonna tank a bunch of creeps. We don't want to do that. So yeah, that's my major feedback for your laning stage here. Yeah, just no defensive aggro being used, but that's easily fixable. Okay.
Right.
It'll probably net you 5 to 6 CS away lane is what I would guess. Okay. So what part of the game you want to talk about team fight targeting? Like how far do we want to go?
I'm concerned about team fights, and they are like about 20 minutes, maybe 25.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit earlier on TA probably. We'll check it out. Okay, so you have Blink, you have going dataless, full aggro.
Yeah.
Your UC Pudge. Okay,
I'm
you guys
going
are gonna...
full aggro because I know we are ahead.
Yeah.
So
TA is the ultimate hero to die once and lose this game, though. So let's
yeah, right.
um
Yeah, and I died 6 times.
yeah,
From this
I'm
point.
actually curious, why would you, or what's stopping you from taking this Aegis and then just killing these creeps and getting this tower? Like, what made you decide to go from here to here? Because I would go here.
Probably my team. Yeah, I wanted to go with my team, but that's like, yeah, I should have gone bot because there's like tier 1 tower still on 20% HP.
So for me, TA, like if we're comparing Riki and TA is a hero that when I have Aegis, I want to hit every single fucking creep on the map, walking from tower to tower, killing them. Like, so for me, I get this Aegis, I go here, 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 here. Like, that's my next 45 seconds. Right? I got 25 creeps and a tower and a half. And that's what I do on TA. So that's an example of like, I'm very clear about what TA does because she farms really... She's one of the few heroes that farms insanely fast and kills towers really fast, right?
Yeah.
So when I have Aegis and I have all this damage, like a lot of people may say, I have all this damage, let's go kill heroes. What TA wants to do is just kill 25 creeps and 2 towers in a minute. Because she can. Like, most carries cannot. So like, I would just be, you know, farm, tower, farm, tower, farm, kill people, you know? Like, that's what I'm... And like, if I'm losing to TA, that's usually what the game looks like. And that's what she wants. Yeah. So walking towards my team and like not farming every single creep every single minute, you know, I'd be hitting a creep every single second here. And then stopping at towers along the way. It's like, okay, now we're in this fight in the triangle. Why am I doing this? I want to go bottom. And I think this is just the same problem as before, which is, you know, playing with your team and stuff. And, okay, so we take a fight. My big problem with this fight is that it's not turning into anything. TA's a hero that, in theory, you would win one fight and they lose a Rex, you know? Because all the lanes are pushed in, because you can. You have a Nature's Prophet, you're TA. So they would lose that fight, and you'd be, like, taking the fight, like, right here, or, like, right here. And then, literally, tier 3 gone by the time Pudge is alive. And then, you know, the problem with that fight is you lost Aegis, and no objectives were taken.
Right, and they respawn and nothing happened.
Really. Yeah, and TA does need to progress the game because she's not a hard carry. She does fall off hyper laking. And I usually tell people you shouldn't be worried about ending the game at a specific time, but it is optimal to play TA to progress the game with Aegis because she can. She's like the best, I think probably the best carry in the game for just progressing the game because she buys mobility. She kills creeps really fast, and she kills buildings really fast. You know, an example that's kind of similar is like Morphling, but he's really slow movement speed-wise. So, like, he doesn't do it as fast, and he also doesn't farm jungle as fast. So, very similar, I would say. Like, farms pretty fast, kills towers really fast.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, because of this sad death, I got it goes downhill. From that point.
Yeah, I mean, clearly in the 2 games you've shown me, you had, like, really good starts, and maybe that's just a sample bias, but I do think you are, you know, what you came into, we talked about in the last game, is worrying about what your teammates will do when you're not there, and we're effectively not doing what we want to do with our hero. So, like, this is fine, but, like, you know, now that we don't have Aegis, I want you to see, you don't feel, like, if you had Aegis, you would have felt comfortable walking into this triangle and, like, taking their Ancients. Like, that, you would have been comfortable doing that because your team was close enough. And I want you to see that with Aegis, your map presence extends massively. Like, you're just allowed to do whatever the fuck you want. But now you're like, okay, I don't feel comfortable doing that. We kind of have to wait for the next Aegis. I'm going to farm back here. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I also think that I can understand the Hex, but I think...
We are taking weird fights.
Yeah, these are very weird fights. Objectively
Yeah, and
speaking, they don't make sense. Like,
I lost
objectively, in
time.
terms of objectives in Dota, they don't make sense.
Yeah, I even died.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so, watching the Riki game, I'd want you to be farming creeps, hunting heroes, so your team would be running around with you hunting heroes. As TA, I want you just fucking vacuuming the map, That's what I want with
Yeah.
Aegis. Just,
It's maybe I'm also TA is one of my most recent heroes. She's my most recent hero. I have in my repertoire because yeah, I was thinking like I need someone like TA or Phantom Lancer or someone who is like the hyper carry that just like farms the whole map or just has illusions. But I'm not very comfortable with illusion heroes. I must say I don't like Terror Blades and Phantom Lancers, that type of thing.
you are or aren't
So
comfortable on them.
I'm not
Okay.
comfortable on
Okay.
them.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
But I
funny.
play a
Go
lot
ahead.
of heroes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's bad or good or bad because
Okay.
I have a lot of heroes
Yeah.
I can play.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that I've talked about several times in the past with, like, I think Amar the fucker is like a perfect example of like how the best players in the world currently think about the game, which is like, I begin being a pro by being amazing at 3 heroes. And
Mm.
for me, I think it's important to interpret, like I've interpreted for myself, what I think is good about that. So the thing is if you're learning the concept of setting expectations every time I get an Aegis, having a clear idea of exactly what I want, communicating that, having my hero match that. If I play a different hero every game, that's really fucking hard to do. It's
Mm.
it's really hard to iron out a mechanic in the game, like a general thing, when you're doing it differently with a hero. But what happens is, if you played Riki 6 games in a row, then whatever you learned about whatever you didn't communicate as well as you could have, or whatever play you made that was a bit off, that wasn't in line with what you wanted to do, or how you handled a situation that your teammates were doing something you didn't want them to do, you'll be able to apply it in the next game, right? Like, you'll be like, okay, how could I have communicated that better? How could I, like, refine that? And then what happens is, you move on to TA now, and you have a very clear idea of, how do I play Aegis fights? How do I play the map? How do I, make use of this hero? And so what I'm telling you is, it's not bad to have like more heroes, but you need to prioritize. Not you need to. I recommend prioritizing, like, whatever you're working on, it's one thing specific at a time. So
Mm.
what I mean by that is, we need to limit all other variables. If you're playing a new hero, you are not learning anything else about the game. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
learning everything you already know about heroes on this hero. So if you don't know how to play with Aegis, like really consciously, like you haven't thought about it a ton and made sure you do it and all that kind of stuff, any hero you pick up on from now on, you're not going to do it well either. Like, it just makes sense. But once you've ironed out the thought process of how to play with an Aegis, then when you play TA, you're still going to need to learn, but it's going to be a lot faster because you've done the
Mm.
process before, and you just need to repeat it with adjusting and feeling out TA as a hero. And it usually
Yeah.
takes maybe 5-10 games.
And do you think that could be also the issue why I sometimes have like stomp games and sometimes I'm getting stomped?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The less flexible you are, the more stompy your games will be, because you're either in a game that fits how you like to play or you're not.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it, because the more flexible you are, what that results in is the average performance is less polarized. Like, you have a very similar performance every game, but as you're learning, that average just goes higher. But I think the biggest thing about, like, climbing and feeling good about it, We don't need it to be an emotional roller coaster with stomps and get stomped. Like it's sometimes it's unavoidable, but there is 100% something we're doing. If like not everybody gets stomped or stomp every game, but there are some stomps in everybody's games. You know, like it's. But if it's happening more than average in your games, there's definitely something you're doing or not doing. And I would think
For me, it's
that.
basically
Go
plus
ahead.
25, minus 25.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And so just knowing that for you, what I've seen and what we've talked about is that you're responding to what's happening in the game, what your teammates want to do, you're showing up to it. And I want you to kind of, you can actually reflect on this. I give people kind of like shower thoughts. I like my shower thoughts are, my shower thought for you is how often am I creating the situation in the game? Like,
Yeah.
I said this, I intended this, and it looks like this, you know? Or how often am I just like showing up to a fight that happened? You
Yeah.
know? So like you get this Aegis down here, and if you were to walk from these camps, hit this tower, camp, and a fight happens here, you created that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because you walked at their buildings. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's for you. I think the biggest takeaway is combining your communication with that and being in line with what you want to do, and then just asking yourself how often I create that, and that's going to dictate how much control you have in the game because we can't control the whole game, but we can definitely influence the game more than we give ourselves credit for.
Mm.
Is how I kind of say that. So does that all make
Yeah,
sense to
that's
you?
really good. That's really good.
Sweet man. Yeah, I mean, we've got about 5 minutes left, so I just want to say, like, is there one last thing you'd like to review? Well, another question you
Um,
have to follow up, making sure you're walking away with, the right tools today.
sure, man. I don't know if a specific like portion of the game. I mean, this game just ended because yeah, I was dying and I had no impact. And I was focusing the wrong target, and yeah, we were taking bad fights. So I think this game is more of a reminder for me that uh, I should be more focused. I should be focused more what my hero wants.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is that as long as, like, I would just start for you, I would just start with a small hero pool intentionally now. And then what you can do is you spend, X amount of games better understanding what it means to do the things we talked about. And then as you're like, okay, I feel like I can do this on the three heroes I've been playing for the last 30 games. I feel really good about it. I'm now going to
Yeah.
extend this knowledge. Like I'm going to keep working on this mechanic, but now let's try it on a hero I've played before. Like, oh, I haven't played Terrorblade in a while, or I haven't played whatever. Um, and maybe heroes that you were uncomfortable on before, you might feel better about because you're thinking about the game in a different way. I've definitely had that in the past where like I revisit heroes and suddenly they make sense. And that just might happen. So
And because I have so huge repertoire of heroes,
yeah.
I also find myself like with one or two heroes that I'm just struggling with all the
Mm.
time. Like in about in one era, in one segment of like one month, for example. I'm playing 1 month of my carries, and for example, right now I can't play a good game with Ursa. And
Mm.
the next month it's someone different, and it's, it's
I'll
like
just say
this.
this much is that I'm going to interrupt you for a second and say that one of my favorite quotes from I don't remember who Jenkins quoted, but he always talks about it is that constraint breeds creativity. Um
Mm,
so it's one of my favorite quotes because what happens is when we try to give ourselves too many options to solve a problem, we end up doing a lot of random shit that doesn't really help us. But if we say,
mhm.
like, I need to work on this thing and I've only got three heroes to do it, and even if they're not the best heroes for this game, I'm going to make it fucking work, you actually learn a lot faster and, play a lot better with that constraint than to give yourself all the options, basically. And it
Yeah.
applies to life as well. Funny enough for me, one of my favorite journaling practices right now is I write my daily journal in a limerick, which is like a 8 to 10. It's a 5-line poem. The first 2 lines are 8 to 10 syllables and they rhyme. The third and fourth line are 5 to 7 syllables and they rhyme, and the last line is 8 to 10 syllables and it rhymes with the first 2 lines. And I've actually found it so interesting to try to express my thoughts in 8 to 10 syllables that rhyme. Like, it's really hard, but then it makes me think about my thoughts more. And then I actually have better journaling. And that's just an example. It doesn't apply the same to everybody, but for me, it's the same with your hero pool. It's like, you're trying to solve these issues, and what might be happening is you're like, I'm going to play a hero that's better for this game, rather than having a more in-depth understanding of TA. And playing her in a game that's not perfect, you know? So you might find yourself kind of swap-swapping your approach a lot if you give yourself too many options. That's what I would imagine might be happening to you.
Okay, that's awesome.
Awesome, man.
And maybe last question.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think I have what it takes to be immortal
Oh, absolutely.
one day?
Yeah. No, I think I say that wholeheartedly, that it's really hard to quantify what, like, you know, you're 4,800 MMR right now. Immortal, I think, is like 55. It's really hard to quantify how much potential you're missing with the problems you have right now, because you're not making your own decisions. Do you know what I mean? Like, these problems are not based on your understanding of the game. They're based on you executing your understanding of the game. We just need to now, like, it could potentially unlock a shit ton of potential, but I know for a fact it's at least 800 MMR worth of potential. But I also don't want to get your, like, hopes up. I'd rather you know that, like, I believe if you fix these things, it will work, but it also might not come immediately, and it might be a little bit of a bumpy road. So if it doesn't work immediately, the most important thing is to not get, dissuaded.
Frustrated.
Yeah, frustrated and dissuaded. Yeah, exactly. But I'm confident these will give you 800 MMR over time. Quite confident.
Okay, that's great.
Awesome, man.
Okay, thank you, BSJ.
Yeah, no
This
problem,
was
man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself too. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this, like, Savage Bastard, obviously I know who you are, meaning, like, you're in our server and stuff. The more you fixate on what you don't like, it just doesn't help. Like, everyone's aware that you communicate and people don't do things we want them to do. Like, we're all aware of this, right? We just don't need to talk about it anymore. For me, like, we just need to draw attention away from it. It's like, what I notice is people get more upset about the reality of the situation, and they'd rather act like it's not reality. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I have to babysit my teammates. Well, no, actually, you just need to communicate assertively and confidently and be steadfast about the decision you made. It's very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but, like, that is the reality. Like, that is, like, what you have to do. And, you know, we always jump to, like, if people would just listen. And it's like, but it's like, you're not going to listen to some random guy that you don't know and you don't trust and who's communicating angrily. Like, you're not going to listen to him. So, like, but then we have people that expect people to listen to them when they're communicating like that. And I'm not saying that's exactly you, Savage Bastard. I'm just saying that people hyperfixate on people not listening. But okay. I do need to end the stream because I've got a class. And thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that coaching session. That's it from me today.